So that's your compass. Your compass is your heart. You do only what you want. But you only know it in the moment. You cannot know it in advance. If you know it in advance, it's your ego. It's your ego planning itself.
So how on earth to live in the modern world? This is, I guess this is
You
what
shouldn't.
this is the impossibility of it all.
Of course it is possible. I don't live.
Everything is about appointments and
Not
pre-scheduled this and work that has to be planned and
well, but this is if you want to be in that world, then you have to do it. I don't want to be in that world. I don't do it. There's nobody telling me to do it. I don't have any appointment and pre-scheduled things. You don't have to live in that world. You don't have to live in that world. I know it sounds awkward and it might be going against all your conditioning, and I don't mean to challenge you or to make fun of this. I'm answering from my own experience, honestly. Even when I go to dinners or something, sometimes I'm told, okay, we're going in here, but we won't be long, okay? Because I have to do something tomorrow morning. I don't know how long I'm going to stay. Maybe I sleep here. I'll do what I feel. If I feel like staying long, I stay long. And if I don't, if you want to go, you go. Or maybe as soon as I enter, I want to go. I don't know. If you want to have it all scheduled in your mind, do it. Very good. No worries. I'm not asking you to be like me. But don't ask me to decide before I decide. So, you never know before you know, you know? You never know before you know, you know? You never know before you know. Before you know is guessing. And when you start guessing, you get lost. Because you're guessing. I mean, if I guess where's the exit, it's very possible that I just take it wrong, the wrong exit. So if I'm guessing how I'm going to feel and what's going to satisfy me in 3 months or in 10 days or tonight, it's a flow, you see. I'm here in front of the river and the flow is going like this. And if I say, well, tonight I'm going to do this, I put it in the river, and when I look tonight, it's down there, down the river, that this I did. So the question, I think, is very profound, it's very beautiful. You ask me how to live. I think it's a very genuine and very honest question, you see. Because really we don't know how to live. Nobody's told that. I mean, what we've been told is that basically we are so chaotic that it's better you have order in your life so you don't get lost. So you have things scheduled in your agenda and your house and your bank account and things like that. So you don't get lost. And then even in the house you have order, and if somebody comes to your house and put this here, you lose it. You lose it. You lose your temper, you lost it. You lost the continuity of your order. If somebody's coming at 7 and they turn up at 7:10, you freak. The whole world turned upside down. Toast is burned. You put it at 7. And if the toast burns, you know what I do? I get a knife and I take the layer that is burned, and there is a lovely toast underneath. I know you don't know this. And like that is everything. Everything that looks inadequate or wrong is just a toast a bit dark that you can scrub with a knife. And the knife is your heart. If you don't use it, you can't see perfection in the imperfect, in the apparent imperfection. You can't see it. If you don't use your heart, you can't see it. Then you try to modify life all the time to please your sight. That is referred to as hell in the tradition. Also samsara in the Indian tradition. The idea that the environment has to be in a particular way for inner peace and happiness to be is one of the worst tortures process that you can get yourself in. So my question, I think the question is so beautiful because it's genuine. I love when you speak from your heart and you say how to live. That's not an intellectual question. You're not asking for an intellectual answer. You're just simply saying how to live. And the answer is quite straightforward. Not knowing. It's immense as an answer. It's huge. And it's not said casually. Not knowing is the answer. So you don't know what you want later. And once you confess that to yourself, you stop striving for what you thought you will want later. That's a little secret I share with you. Because when you strive for what you want later, which is your imagination, even in the best scenario, if you achieve it, later you'll be someone else. So you'll be with the result of an effort of someone else. You have to live with it. Was it pink? I decided to paint the wall. Who was there wanting to paint the wall pink? Was it me? Now I have to live with the wall pink? And that's why we paint walls. That's the business of painting. It's very big business because they know you change your mind all the time. So to strive for an achievement of something, yes, that you think you will want in the future, that you think is what you need, you see, it's bound to crash. You can only get to the point in which you say, all I want in the future is to be able to decide moment by moment what I want. And the only way I can be sure that I achieve it then is if I'm doing it now. So the only way of taking care of the future is in the present. If you take care of the present moment, you're taking care of the future. Because the future and the present moment, they're linked. They're the same thing looked from a different angle. So how to live is the question. How to live? Hmm? Have you asked yourself that, sweetheart? How to live? Yeah? Isn't it a beautiful question? How to live? And we could go in so many directions with answers. You can be truthful and whatever, or you can... And my answer is straight to the point. Not knowing. Because if you don't know, you're truthful to your heart. Don't forget, the heart doesn't know anything. It's only the mind that believes that sometimes knows. And then you're truthful. If you're truthful to your mind, you're not truthful to your heart. And if you're not truthful to your heart for a long time, you miss your heart and you feel that you lost yourself because you've been following your mind. Who knows? But if you decide to live not knowing, you're deciding consciously for the heart. You're consciously deciding for the heart as opposed to the mind. And I welcome you. I welcome any of you who wants to learn how to live from the heart, because I know that that's the only solution. The answer is straightforward and is immense. How to live? The answer is not knowing. You can put that answer and that question in every different field of your life and you will see that it makes sense. Because anything you know is taking you away from your heart. The heart only dwells and shines in not knowing, you see. So you can't know. What am I going to do when I'm 60? I don't know. Imagine you make all that effort and you buy that holiday home somewhere. That happens a lot. No? Holiday homes is classic, huh? People buy these houses in who knows where, and when they get that age, they have the focus. They don't want to be there at all. What I was thinking about when I bought that house, for God's sake. So live your life not knowing. Then you start to be truthful. If you know, you're not truthful. I know it sounds radical, but this is my experience, yes? For example, in terms of work and satsangs, I'm quite happy to book things and people book things. But I'm also happy to not go, even if they're booked. I'm sorry to say it, it's horrible. Oh, I remember you were so concerned about that in Bristol once. Because, well, it's like, it happens, Not knowing. The priority is that. How do you think I got to satsangs? Imagine if I would know anything when I walk into satsang. It would be a catastrophe. I will have to kind of address you from that what I know, and so organize your work, do your job, understand yourself. When you understand yourself, you understand that your nature is good, is goodness, because we are naturally good in terms of when you're in peace, you don't want to harm anything or anybody. You understand? It's natural. Only when you're not in peace that you can harm. Because you're very egoistical, you just want your benefit, and then you become blind and you do things that harm. But if you don't want anything, just you organize your work and make out of your work a service. An anonymous service. Hopefully nobody recognizes you ever. You just serve. And you have to understand that if you serve from your heart, if you love within your work, you're actually choosing for your heart. If you choose for your mind, then you're very concerned in results and efficiency and position and money. You understand? Make your life full of those invisible achievements that are subtle and that not belong to you. They just belong to they just flourish yourself inside. You understand? Learn to appreciate that. Learn to appreciate how much important it is to act from your heart. Then work will happen, and don't worry about it. Even if you're a mess in terms of appointments and timing, work will still happen.
I'd like to ask you a bit more about that because the way my work life is, I have lots and lots of appointments every day with people coming, and they can expect something from me. So when I see my diary for the week, I want to just give up sometimes. I want to just, it's just too much. It feels like too much that's all set and organised for me. Whereas when I'm actually in the appointments, then it can be just as you say, it's very fine. It can just
Yes,
be
exactly.
waiting with them and we see what happens, and it can be very wonderful actually.
Yes.
Very beautiful.
Yes.
But it's when I see as
I see what you
it's
mean.
from before, when I see what seems like my whole week is all organised and set for me, and there's no space just when something unexpected. Well, there is unexpectedness, but it feels so regimented. So I'm just looking at the difference between the idea of it beforehand compared with the reality of just being in the
Exactly.
time, which is fine.
Exactly. That is many times because what you believe that you most love, yeah, has to be on hold while you work.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Do what you most love in your work.
Mm.
So then you don't feel like it's this kind of dichotomy, you see.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
understand?
Yes.
It's
And
not as if you're waiting for
yeah.
the appointment to finish so you can be yourself and do
Sure.
what you want. Be yourself through the appointment.
Yeah.
And
really, I mean,
yes.
I have huge opportunity to do that.
Yes. Yes.
It's a big privilege, really, what I do.
Yes, yes, exactly. At the same time, at the back of your mind, know that if you want to cancel it all, you do it. That's what I'm saying. Knowledge is the imagination of something. Knowledge is always imagination. We don't end understanding that. Hmm? That knowledge is imagination. So, for example, in this example, you know you have it all booked up this afternoon. That knowledge is imagination because you imagine it how it's going to be. It's not going to be nowhere close to how you imagine it. And that is what allows you to know it, that you can imagine it. If you wouldn't imagine how it is, you wouldn't know it. So my answer is don't know. How to live not knowing. How to live not knowing what's going to come out of anything. It's just is an interview or is a whatever you do in your life. There potentially is present what you most love. And if you are with that or not is you, not what you're doing. It's not what you're doing. It's how you're doing it.
It's a really big thing when you're saying about you could just cancel it, because it's really thinking I can't is one of the big problems, and
Yeah.
that's been changing just these last months actually.
Hmm.
Yeah, the imagination that you're absolutely tied, that I'm absolutely tied to it. Yeah.
You're only tied to you see, to your heart. So before we solve the relationship with someone else, it's more important to solve the relationship with yourself. Because with the same intensity you can attack and frame someone, you attack and frame yourself. You understand? And with the same lightness you can switch off from that, you will be able to switch off from anyone else's image. So I recommend you to, to ponder upon this.
Ponder on myself.
Ponder,
As opposed
yes,
to
ponder on how you, as opposed to that, yes. Ponder on how hard you can be with yourself, maybe. You see? And how unnecessary that is.
well, I know that I can. I can be that to myself.
Mm.
That I'm hard on myself.
Mm.
So then, how would I go about not doing that?
By allowing yourself to be like you are.
Accepting myself.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to accept yourself. That's the essence, you see? That's the essence of peace. It's only when you accept yourself that you can accept others how they are. Because you can, if the equation is always this conflict about how you are, then you have the same equation happening out there in the world. You're fed up of people and how they are, and all what you disapprove in others is really you disapproving yourself. But it's easier to blame others than you. So it's a mirror.
Oh, I don't feel I hang on to the thought of, like, if I'm criticizing him, then what I actually probably do is criticize myself for criticizing him, knowing that it's coming from it's coming from me. It's nothing to do with him.
Mm.
And that's probably where I'm not as loving to myself. And then I think, I must change myself. There's something I need to do. I'm not quite doing enough. If I just do a little bit more, if I just better myself, if I can just be kinder and softer, then maybe that's what I need to do. Which I think I do need to be. And then I get confused because I'm soft already. That softness as in my heart, to be in my heart. That's when the sort of tug of war happens in my thoughts. But it's not like that all the time. So I'm just explaining a little bit, because then I do have those moments of where I'm not wrestling with myself. So I guess it's good that I focus on the time that I'm not wrestling and think, I'm doing all right. Actually. And rest in that,
Yes.
which is the peace and the clarity and the truth of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Thank you.
So